In your opinion, what is an album with no bad songs? I remember hearing Dell on Clint Eastwood before I knew who he was. I found his verse to be one of the best rap verses out there, not for content but for the style in which he raps. It resonated with me. When I first heard 3030 I was amazed that the same guy had made the best album ever. The song All the Young Dudes, which Bowie wrote and gave to Mott the Hoople who recorded it and had a hit with it, Bowie sings background/chorus in the song, was originally meant to be on Ziggy Stardust, which IMHO makes the album even more brilliant, if possible, if you include that song on it. In 5 years Bowie sings about how newsman wept when he told us Earth was really dying, and the idea of the news is featured in All the Young Dudes, who carry the news. Pixies aged so fucking well. They were making so many bangers and their albums are just hit after hit. I know they didn't really seek it out, but it's a shame they weren't super popular when they came out. At least today everyone acknowledges how influential they were and their albums are considered absolute classics. Time Out, the Dave Brubeck Quartet. First jazz album to reach 1M sales, also first jazz single, Time Out, to reach the same milestone. Wow, thanks for all the love everyone. My father was a big jazz fan and was from that era. He had some Brubeck records and I'm starting my own collection in vinyl. I recently got Countdown, Time in Outer Space also. So, I saw The Cure in El Paso in 2016. They seemed to love El Paso because the last time they were there they had played for hours. After the encore I was thoroughly satisfied and as the crowd kept clapping, they came out again. They did a second encore. We applauded so hard for getting a second encore and the fuckers came out again. Mind you, they were playing stuff I don't think they'd played in concert for decades. All in all, they gave us 5 encores, played for something like 4 hours and played like 40 songs. They rock so hard after all of these decades. I love that album, but I Will Raise You Revolver. It starts off in typical, prime Fab 4 poppy fanfare, slowly getting further out there, experimenting with tape loops, mellotron sounds, and orchestration. By the time you get to the final track, Tomorrow Never Knows, it's like the boys and George Martin are priming the world for the SGT pepper bomb that they dropped the following year, forever changing the landscape of contemporary music. The perfect transitional album. I'm late to this party so this will get buried, but The Prodigy's The Fat of the Land is one of the seminal electronic albums of the British canon and set the tone for an entire generation of big beat producers. Firestarter, Breathe, Smack My Bitch Up, Minefields, every single track was a booming, pulsing anthem to anarchy that immediately grabbed you by the shoulders and shook you awake. Liam Howlett's knifey synths and pounding basses filled you with an aggressive energy impossible to ignore. Keith Flint's punchy vocals gave you permission, ordered you, sometimes, to smash shit up and take no prisoners. T-Fiddle was an enduring force of nature like no big beat album before it, completely changing the landscape of electronic music. Even now, some 25 years later, you'd be hard-pressed to find many people who wouldn't immediately recognize Firestarter's iconic opening riff or be able to reel off Smack My Bitch Up's controversial lyrics. Anyway, if it's been a while since you heard it, or if by some terrible confluence of events you've never heard it, do yourself a favor and fire up Spotify now, you won't regret it. After hearing the Strokes' new album Is This It?, the band The Killers scrapped all the songs they wrote for their album Hot Fuss, all except for Mr. Brightside. Imagine being The Killers the day Is This It released. I'm sure they stressed, trying to create the best album they can, pouring everything they got into it. Just to wake up one day and have to listen to the Strokes undeniably take the throne before their eyes, lol. From the first time I heard it, I thought it was a masterpiece. To me, it's also the album that really elevated Nirvana. Their studio albums were groundbreaking, no question, but when they did this one, full of covers of what would have been obscure songs to most people, and fucking nailed all of them in an astonishingly beautiful way, I thought that was that final proof of their well-earned legendary status. Edit, a word. I finished a fantastic cannabis brownie about an hour before I wrote this. Had to fix a word or two. Sports by Huey Lewis and the News. Their early work was a little too new wave for my taste. But when Sports came out in '83, I think they really came into their own, commercially and artistically. The whole album has a clear, crisp sound, and a new sheen of consummate professionalism that really gives the songs a big boost. He's been compared to Elvis Costello, but I think Huey has a far more bitter, cynical sense of humor. Random fun story. My English teacher in high school had a former student that was dating/eventually married a member of LP. He was at their wedding, but at one point when she gave him a copy of their early work back when the band name was Hybrid Theory, he listened to it and told them, "Listen, your music isn't bad, but don't quit your day jobs." I'm a passing fan of Pearl Jam, I'd say. I appreciate their musicianship, what they did for rock in the 90s, etc., but usually just enjoy their music in passing. I rarely purposefully put them on. 10, however. What a freaking masterpiece of a debut. It's just crazy. I know someday you'll have a beautiful life, I know you'll be a star in somebody else's sky. But why can't it be mine? Chills every time. For me it's wasting light. So awesome front to back, and the production is off the chain. All recorded on tape as well. The first album and There Is Nothing Left to Lose are also right up there. I think it's easy to take for granted how many great songs they have. Dave Grohl is a phenomenal melody writer. Also, in case you didn't know, the album is based off of some science fiction story, I can't remember the origin. There's a link to that I think in some of our /Gojira's Song of the Week discussions, where basically somebody was sent to these outer planets to gather information and meet some deities and all that. The album is a reflection of that long journey and has a bunch of little journeys, diving deep into the highlights and concepts found/realized on the journey. It's just so cool to me how I feel that everybody can connect personally to it and be more understanding. I'm a little tired in the time I'm writing this, but I'm down to elaborate on anything anyone is curious about. Musicians don't get to talk about music enough for some reason. Technically this could be said about any of the Pink Floyd Big Four. The Wall and Sodom are both albums that tell a story, so even the random filler songs, Is There Anybody Out There / Bring the Boys Back Home for the Wall, On the Run / Speak to Me for Sodom, are considered pretty good. Fleetwood Mac, Rumors. Eminem, The Marshall Mathers LP. Edit. Thank you all for your awards and upvotes. I just want to add a few things. Oh Daddy and Songbird aren't bad songs, they just struggle against how good the others on the album are. Same goes for Kim on MMLP, Skids aside it's superb album. Go Your Own Way may be the most perfect song ever recorded. Each instrument is perfectly played to be good on its own, but better when combined. Please check out my mate's new EP on Bandcamp. He's a rapper from Limerick, Ireland, but this new album is next level from his last one. Different style, very laid back. Hazy Haze. My personal favorites are Melting Moon and Enough, favorite. Check it out and let me know what you think. I think about that a lot. My theory is that they were so good because he was perfecting all those verses for years up to that point, because we heard different versions etc. over the years of some of those verses. Like I wouldn't be surprised if some of those rhymes were started when he was like 13 to 14 and they all came together in that one album. My favorite example of this, I Almost Like It Better. https://www.youtube.com/watch?v=ma-kivtwm. Have you seen the 1980 movie Rude Boy? It's a very peculiar film, being the fictional story of a Clash roadie during their period of touring the UK and recording Give 'Em Enough Rope. So the roadie is played by an actor, but his scenes were all filmed with the actual Clash during their performances, backstage, and in the studio. Amazing stuff. The scene of Mick Jones recording vocals for Stay Free is one of my favorite moments, along with Joe bullshitting at the bar and backstage with the roadie in what appear to be improvised or semi-scripted scenes. I think the movie took a huge hit from critics when it was released because by then they were kind of oversaturated and punked out, and the Clash themselves disowned the project. The roadie character is not as charismatic or interesting as any of the Clash, so it is slightly frustrating for the film to focus on him as much as it does. If someone didn't care much for the Clash, they would hate this film. But for a Clash fan, it's a must-see. Just wanted to recommend it because I don't think Stay Free gets enough love, and it is a centerpiece of the film. I believe the opening titles might be Safe European Home too. If I'm mistaken though, it is in the movie. Agreed that it's a banger. The Black Parade by My Chemical Romance. ETA. A quick funny story about this album. I was at my pre-operative appointment last week and they did a whole bunch of tests in preparation for surgery. Anyway, they needed to take a bunch of blood. When the tech came in to do it, my mom asked if she could put on music while he did it. He said yes. My mom proceeded to play Blood and Then Dead. I was cracking up and the tech was bopping. It was awesome. Yup, came here to same this. Some may argue Thriller, and I love MJ, but Kman The Girl Is Mine is cheesy. But Bad has a bit of everything for everyone. Even the lesser known songs from the album are great. Speed Demon makes you wanna run. Liberian Girl is so goddamn beautiful and makes you wanna sing your heart out by the end of it, and Just Good Friends is so damn funky and fun with Stevie Wonder. And of course everyone knows Bad, Smooth Criminal, Man in the Mirror, etc. When I was probably 11 or 12, I played on an indoor soccer team one winter, and our coach was an English guy doing one of those exchange coaching program things, living in the US for a year. One day after practice, he gave us all burned CDs and told us to listen to his best mate's band. That CD ended up being Whatever People Say I Am. Stayed in the 6 CD changer in my mom's van for years. Awesome album. It really gets on my nerves when people rag on them for being a basic intro to alt-rock band. That's not me saying that there's some hidden gem or anything, but it's like once enough people start enjoying something, there's suddenly waves of people that make fun of those who like said thing. Apologies for the rant. Sometimes the more cynical/critical corners of the internet seem the loudest, lol. That being said, they were the first band that I listened to their entire discography. I even find my own poetry sounding like some poor man's Alex Turner lyrics, lol. Yeah. I fought against Morning View being my favorite because it's generally considered their poppiest album. But it is damn good. I just still love Science because of Jose Padilla's drum solo in Vitamin when they perform it live, and because of nostalgia. I met my first ever girlfriend at an Incubus concert and made out with her during aqueous transmission. I have 3. Want One album by Rufus Wainwright. Oceans Avenue album by the band Yellow Card. Construct of the State, name of the album, by the punk band Leftover Crack. I do not agree with Leftover Crack politically. I do not agree with the messages of their songs. It's just that they gave musicality a lot of punk bands lack. Pet Sounds is their best album, period. Surf's Up is a close second emo, but they have some really skippable songs, such as Student Demonstration Time, which really kills the mood of the album, and Take a Load Off Your Feet, which is like a Brand X version of Vegetables from Smile/Smiley Smile. But all of the other songs on that album are some of the most amazing stuff the Beach Boys put out in the 70s before they became a nostalgia act, with songs like Don't Go Near the Water, and A Day in the Life of a Tree, which are deep and thoughtful environmental songs. Feel Flows and Long Promised Road are just beautiful. Disney Girls, 1957, is a cutesy, nostalgically heartwarming ballad. And the title track, which was a leftover song from the aforementioned Smile project that Brian Wilson tried to make after Pet Sounds came out, is the piece de resistance of the album. I might get called basic for these picks, but I really do believe these are fantastic albums. After Laughter, Paramore. Favorite Worst Nightmare, Arctic Monkeys. Vessels, 21 Pilots. Megalithic Symphony, AWOL Nation. In Rainbows, Radiohead. Narrow Stairs, Death Can for Cutie. Ceremonials, Florence and the Machine. Franz Ferdinand, Demon Days, Gorillaz. 2. Mac DeMarco. The Black Parade, My Chemical Romance. The Waterfall, My Morning Jacket. Vega INTL. Night School, Neon Indian. Pillar of NA, Saint Seneca. Inner Speaker, Tame Impala. El Camino, The Black Keys. Is This It, The Strokes. Champ, Tokyo Police Club. Modern Vampires of the City, Vampire Weekend. Mind Over Matter, Young the Giant. AC/DC, Powerage, Let There Be Rock, PWR/Up, Back in Black, Highway to Hell, for those about to rock. Jean-Michel Jarre, Oxygene, Equinox, Equinox Infinity, Rendezvous, Oxygene 3. Rainbow, Rising, Richie Blackmore's Rainbow, Straight Between the Eyes. Deep Purple, In Rock, Machine Head. Elp, Brain Salad Surgery, Tarkus, Trilogy.